Hello everyone, I'm Darkest Dawn and welcome back to the Super Mega Uberhood and Grimm's Haunted Mansion. Last video was all about the exterior, but in this video we will design the interiors and make them creepy, spooky, and altogether kooky. As I said previously, I modeled the exterior on the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland and the interior as well, but I also referenced the Addams Family television show, especially with the taxidermy and other creepy items that are cluttered about the house. I was trying to make a grand staircase on the first floor like the one on the show, but I realized too late that there wasn't enough room. And this will be a theme in this house, unfortunately. The interiors are far too small, but I think I make it work in the end. The second floor is almost entirely made up of Grimm and Olive's bedroom suite with their bedroom and ensuite bath, a piano for Grimm, and a dartboard, which is Grimm's favorite hobby. The third floor houses Nervous's bedroom, Grimm's office, and a spare bedroom. Each room on this floor also has its own ensuite bath. Everything in this home is old, dusty, and spooky. The main colors I use for the interiors ends up being gray, black, and a dark teal. The dark teal comes mainly from Shastakiss' amazing Haunted Mansion wallpaper, which will feature in the main floor and the second floor landing. The interior doors used are once again from the Spooky set with add-ons by Shastakiss, and I ended up using the original dark brown black color with the spider webs all around it to keep the abandoned home vibe of the house. I used a black brown worn wood floor throughout the build, which fits into the whole unused, unkempt, grungy aesthetic for the interior of the house. The most unique area of the house is in the basement, which is located through a secret passageway in the library after traveling down a rickety old staircase. This is Olive's torture chamber / murder dungeon. Here Olive entertains her guests with various torture devices and leaves them to rot in their cells. I wanted the basement to be gross and damp, like if you walked into the room, you're hit with like a musty smell. So I used stone walls and floors from Cyclone Sue at the Sims Resource that look damp and moldy. One of the mistakes I made when building was putting the staircase in the correct position. I thought I had it figured out, but when I tested it, no one could get down into the basement. I think the problem is that I put something decorative that's blocking the stairs, or I need to add extra spaces after the cells are built. I left it alone for now, just so I could be done, but I'll go back and I'll fix it someday. My decorating style is basically to throw all the things I think will work in the room on the floor and then find places for all of it. So that's what I'm doing here. Olive's dungeon has, I think, 7 cells that will be filled with the remains of her victims. There's torture devices throughout, and all of her evil magic paraphernalia is in there too. I said previously that I used collection folders religiously, and this folder that I'm finding all the creepy things is from my cemetery / death folder. It has all the things that are perfect for, Olive's happy place. And a lot of these skeletons and torture thingies I got from various different creators like Fractured Moonlight, Wood for Sims, Windkeeper, Cyclone Sue, Rebecca at Infinity Sims, and the corpses are from Katie VIP. And like always, I'll put a link below so you can snag these items for your own creepy builds. For the cells, I use more CC from Cyclone Sue. The windows and doors are from their wrought iron bars set. The only problem with these is that the corner where the bars and the wall meet leaves a big hole. So I eventually use dead ivy to cover them up so they're not as noticeable. I left an open area where I placed a skeleton that perished from being left in the stocks too long. And I also put up on the walls some hammers and mallets and such that Olive will use on her guests. Do you like how I keep calling them guests? Like they want to be there and can leave at any time. Sorry it's so dark here, but the dungeon has no windows, naturally. I will place lights so you can see things better. Most of the torture items come from a site that no longer exists called Wood for Sims. They made a Halloween type site back in the day named blood for Sims. I think they were even around in the Sims 1 days. But anyways, you can still find their stuff at the booty. And the guillotine and the stretcher are actually beds, so your Sims can have a lovely night's sleep. But they might not wake up with their heads. I loved decorating the dungeon. It may be a bit dark and morbid, but you have to decorate to the client's taste, not yours, right? I kept showing my kids the progress of my build of the dungeon, and they kept looking at me funny. They're like, "Why are you torturing your Sims, Mom?" And I'm all, "It's not me, it's Olive, I swear." But I imagine that the skeletons were the remains of the Sims buried in the graveyard, or new victims that Olive likes to keep as trophies. I also imagine that she likes to decorate with the bones. That's why that's why there's several skeletons upstairs holding candles or holding a mirror. One is holding a barrel of water for the shower. One was made into an end table. One's a chair. I think Olive gets a big kick out of it with her, her morbid sense of humor. And these are all by Fractured Moonlight, who makes amazing things you didn't even know you needed. So again, I'll leave the link below so you can check out their stuff. I also added a cadaver in the room. Maybe Olive is practicing her zombification spell on it or something like that. It's actually the same as the medicine aspiration reward. So your Sims will cut into it and pull out weird things. Olive doesn't spend much time with her son, Nervous, but she does want to pass along her torture techniques to him. So sometimes she takes Nervous down to the basement and coaches him on the cadaver. That's motherly love right there. So in my hood, only the women are magical, not the men. But the men can carry the magical gene to pass on to their female offspring. I think Olive was disappointed that she had a son and not a daughter, because she wanted, someone to be her evil magic mini-me. She thought she might have the chance with her niece Ophelia, but when Ophelia's alignment was light magic instead, Olive kind of gave up on that idea for good. So her only hope is for Nervous to father a female child so she can be an evil grandma. Or Olive and Grimm can conceive a girl child. So back to the dungeon. Here I'm adding the ivy I was telling you about to cover the gaps in the walls from the cells. It's kind of like a theme now where all the basement walls have dead ivy, just like the House of Fallen Trees. And I add dead patches of grass to the floor to make it look more unkempt and deserted. And here's Cleopatra, Olive's cow plant. She's so cute. When Cleo is milked, Olive can make a potion that will make her live longer than she normally would, and will keep her looking forever beautiful. So again, in my headcanon, Bella Goth is alive, and she's also a witch, but she is also the head of a beauty empire. And she uses the milk of the cow plant, specifically Olive's cow plant, for her very expensive face cream that makes normal Sims look forever young. And she uses Olive's cow plant because Olive feeds it human Sims. So right now, Olive and Grimm are the only Sims that have cow plants. That might change, but for now, yeah. Okay, so now we're in the dining room, and this is where the mistakes I made when I made the layout are real apparent. Again, there isn't enough room for all of the grand ideas I had. Like, on the Haunted Mansion ride, there's a part where the ghosts are all celebrating a birthday, and there's a long table, and they're dancing in the ballroom. And I couldn't do that here like I thought I would be able to. So instead, I condense everything. Hopefully it's still creepy, but it's small, and I don't like that. The way I eventually put the library and dining room area together does end up working so that so that Sims can sit at the table and walk around. That's all that really matters, right? And as you can see, I'm jumping around a lot like usual. Here's the kitchen setup. Again, it's very small, galley style kitchen. I use the mission style cabinets that came with Open for Business and add-ons by Mutski. I think that's their name. And the add-ons are in black and green. And for the stained glass inserts, I replaced them with add-on inserts by Michelle at Mod The Sims. The blue, green, orangey tone. To me, it adds a little Victorian flair to the kitchen. Again, to make the house seem, hundreds of years old. I also use old-timey appliance conversions by Shasta and a sink by Lady Sim Player. And I changed the door to an Edwardian door by Holy Samoli. I eventually changed the window over the sink to a cathedral style window by Parsimonious, so that all the stained glass is different, but it complements each other, hopefully. I love decorating kitchens, and this kitchen is dark and moody, like the Trico's kitchen in the House of Fallen Trees. But unlike their kitchen, this one is being used to prepare food, so it's more functional than beautiful. Galley style is never really my favorite in kitchen design, but with these older homes where the company wouldn't normally venture into the kitchen, so they wouldn't see it, so the owners of the house wouldn't spend a lot of money on it, And if you're wondering what I'm putting in the pots back there in the conservatory, it was the death flowers from Midge the Tree's Supernatural Garden. I thought it was quite fitting to have the Reaper family grow death flowers. Olive's hobby is actually science, not nature, and her sub-hobby is ant collecting because she likes to torture Sims with ants. I don't know. But anyways, no one's hobby is nature, but I thought Olive or Bonehilda could take care of the flowers or something. Oh, this guy. Okay, let me tell you. This skeleton is an automatic greeter. So I didn't know this. I put him at the door, and when I tested the lot, every Sim that walked by came right in, walked up to the skeleton, acting like they were scared, and just came into the house like nothing. So I had so many Sims in the house at one time. It was ridiculous. And they all seemed to be having a great time. It was just so random. It's a very cute idea to have the skeleton greeter, but if you use this guy, just be prepared to have visitors in your house at all times of the day and night. Especially if you have vampires and werewolves in your hood, because, they're crashing your house at 2 a.m. and playing chess. Oh, and the little tower with the lonely skeleton holding candles. It's like a little spooky lighthouse. I'm hiding the little sky globe here, and I decorate it with the spooky pack. I think that's what it's called. Spooky pack from The Sims 4. I feel so bad for the skeleton. He has nowhere to go. He's just stuck in his little lonely lighthouse. And this little console table here, this is the beginning of my masterpiece. So I decided to make Olive's ofrenda. And I'll talk more about this when we come back to it, but it's my favorite thing in the house. I start messing around with the wallpaper at this point. I have all of the spooky wallpapers in my death/cemetery folder together, but I realized that I wanted all the walls to have black baseboards and molding, so I take quite a few of Shasta's walls and just slap the black moldings on them at some point in the build. Can I just tell you how cool all of this creepy and grungy wallpaper is? It makes me so happy. So one of the reasons I even wanted to start building for vampires and witches and other supernaturals was because of all the amazing CC I was finding that I would never be able to use in my very vanilla BACC hood. There's no soups there yet. So to be able to use all this great stuff that I downloaded is very satisfying for me. I'm throwing it all in. The ofrenda. I'm so happy with this. Okay, so since Olive's maiden name is Muenda, she might partake in Dia de los Muertos celebrations, possibly. And since she loves the dead, she would definitely have an ofrenda with her favorite dead Sims. Yes? No? So anyways, I made one for her. It has photos of her mom and dad, and also her ex-husbands and her brothers that she murdered. The most important ones, like her parents, are in the bigger photos, and the least important, the brothers-in-laws, are in the smaller photos. So ofrendas are like tabletop altars to honor your loved ones that have passed away. There are specific things you're supposed to put on them, but I didn't do all that. Sorry. I kind of just wanted to make it look pretty and spooky. So I used the calaveras and papel picado, and the orange flowered trellis is supposed to resemble the marigolds. And I used that spooky stuff pack, whatever it's called, torn curtains again. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the Spanish words. I'm not a native Spanish speaker. My husband speaks Spanish. I took 6 years of Spanish in school, and I still suck at speaking Spanish. So I apologize. But I thought this would be kind of weird for Olive, considering she murdered almost all these people. But she doesn't want to forget them because she loves them in her own way. Except for her parents. I still don't think she murdered her parents. I'm sticking to that one. And again, I'm throwing all the stuff that might work for the ofrenda on the floor and trying my best to make it pretty. That papel picado was a pain to try to put on the table for whatever reason. It's supposed to go on the wall. And when I would try to get close to the table, with move objects on, off, or whatever, it just kept jumping to the tabletop. But I eventually get it to work. The photos of Olive's loved ones are from the game files. I just exported them through SimPE and then threw a sepia filter on them and turned them into recolors. I decided to add a wall to the stairwell so the marigolds wouldn't look like they're floating in space. But that meant I had to pull the table out and rearrange where everything sits on the table. So it took a little while, I'm not gonna lie. But I really love the outcome of this. And the Haunted Mansion wallpaper just fits perfectly with it. I don't know why I love the Haunted Mansion wallpaper so much. Like, we went to Downtown Disney the other day, and they had a Haunted Mansion dress that was the same motif as the wallpaper. And I almost bought it. And, it was not cute. It was purple, and I hate purple. And the silhouette just would never look good on me. But I just love the spooky eyes coming out of the damask of the wallpaper. It's so cute. If there was a purse made out of that fabric, I would totally buy it. Anyways, when I was there, I just bought some Cruella de Vil mouse ears instead. They're black leather with studs and chains. And I'm like, these are the only mouse ears I would ever wear. So anyways, I like that this wallpaper is teal instead of purple. I think the blue tone just fits in better against all of the black wood. The organ that's on the second floor landing was actually supposed to be for Ophelia. When I first started building, I still had Ophelia as part of the family, and her hobby is music and dance, and her sub-hobby ended up being piano playing. But then I decided to resurrect Ophelia's parents, and she currently lives with them in Belladonna Cove. The organ isn't wasted though. When I was playtesting, Grim apparently plays really well. Everyone was dancing around him and clapping for him. So yeah, right. That's Grim's organ now. Here I'm starting to add clutter to various areas. So I'll be going back and forth from one room to the next. Also, I changed the fireplace in the dining room to the snake version. Yeah, my little Slytherin heart just had to add that in there. And here I'm adding random stuffed animals in various locations. Very much adding to the whole Addams Family vibe. Why is there a stuffed alligator above their dining room table? I don't know. Don't question it. Most of the clutter is more comical than scary. And some things I hoped looked more like cursed items or so, things you would expect to see in the Grim Reaper in his evil witch girlfriend's home. These pictures that I'm adding to the wall are all, or most of them anyways, haunted pictures. So they look one way during the day maybe and turn into another picture at night. They're cloned from lights. So the light on version is one way and the light off version is another. It's very clever. I downloaded them all and I think I use every single one of them in the house. And these are made by Skellington, Shastakiss, and another creator. I want to say Zeus. Maybe. I'll leave the credits below, but they're absolutely necessary for a haunted mansion. They're so cool. So some of you might ask, why build this lot in SimCity or downtown? Why not keep Olive and Nervous in Strangetown? Or since Olive is a witch, why doesn't she live in Belladonna Cove with the other witches? And well, I thought that Olive's inclination for killing would eventually catch up to her in Strangetown. It's a small town, every sim knows each other, and all of the sims going missing that were last seen on Olive's doorstep would be a dead giveaway that she had something to do with their disappearances. So I didn't want to keep her there, and the witches actually frown upon her hobbies, quote unquote hobbies, because it makes them look bad. So Grim was really just trying to protect Olive and keep her safe, and the Vampire District is really the perfect place for her. It's already spooky, and Sims don't like coming near the place. It's a big city, so Sims go missing all the time. And they're right next to the cemetery, so if they need to, they can easily dispose of the bodies. In fact, Grim and Olive have a deal with the owner of Gothier Green Lawns, Stephen Gothier, to help with body dumpage or whatever they need from him. He's a very kooky character as well. You'll meet him pretty soon. So I'm probably going to stop talking now and let you listen to creepy music as the speed build continues. Sorry again for taking so long getting this part 2 up on YouTube. It's been hectic this past month or so. My kids are finally back in school, so like in actual school, like not where they're at home on their computer in school. So maybe I'll have more time to record my voice, because that's really the part that takes me forever, because I never have time to do it, or it's too noisy around the house to record. Anyways, I hope to be better at getting the videos out to you at decent times. Next up will be the Gothier Green Lawn Cemetery. I haven't started on that yet, so hopefully I can finish the makeover soon. I've been slowly doing makeovers of some of the Sims in the hood, but I haven't recorded me doing the makeovers. But would that be something y'all are interested in watching? Let me know if you have any opinions on that or not. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the speed build. Thank you for all the lovely comments and suggestions that you guys have been leaving. I really, really appreciate them. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later. So the light on version. Okay, that was a horse. That was a horse. Okay, I don't even know. I gotta go back.